Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome to tonight's Team Zoom special guest, Duckling. Tonight we're going to go ahead and go over detox. Detox, it sounds scary, and I know most people are kind of like, why should I detox? They freak out, and then it's kind of like if you don't bring it up and then they start detoxing, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, what's happening to me? The world is ending. I'm dying. I'm going to, all the things, they start panicking. So let's go over detox and all the things with it. So when people, before they start Plexus, 9 times out of 10, they're probably not taking prebiotics. They're not taking a probiotic. And if they are, it's probably not a good one. So fun fact, Plexus has a probiotic that has an antifungal. So we are all born with a candida yeast. We're all born with candida. And the reason that we're born with it is because when we die, that's what decomposes our bodies. I know it's weird, but we have it. And then what happens is we have a overly processed diet. We have stress. We have environmental everything problems. We just have this life that causes us to have a candida yeast overgrowth. And when that overgrowth happens, it's not hard. We have to go in and replenish the good bacteria. We have to break down the bad bacteria, and not all probiotics are created equally. As you guys know, because when you probably started Plexus, you probably experienced some form of detox, and you're probably like, what in the world? So detox comes in different forms. Some people don't experience it. Some people experience it a lot more than others. So detox can be, there is detox and then there is die off. So two different things. Detox is kind of like, I expect it to happen for everybody. It can be headaches. It can be a form of going to the bathroom too much. It can be constipation. It can be acne. That's what I had when I went through detox. Some people experience it immediately. Some people experience it later. So it just all depends. And if somebody's like, okay, well, I'm curious about this detox, and if it's something that holds them up from even starting, something that you can do to ease their mind is just literally my favorite thing to say is congratulations, you've made it to detox. It means that the products are working, they are doing their job, and your body is trying to heal in some form, whether that be you have a candida yeast overgrowth and you just need to heal and you need gut bacteria, or you just need to break down the candida that you have. So not everybody is going to detox the same. You cannot make any guarantees. I wish we could, but usually I just tell people up front, hey, if you start to detox, if you start getting a migraine, if you start to get a headache, or if you start to see, something going on, congratulations, the products are working. So kind of celebrate it. I always love to celebrate detox. I know it's not a fun thing to celebrate, but it means that they've made it to a whole new thing. And some things that they can do to work through it are, number one, increase water. The way that you're going to flush and get through it all is going to be increased water. Some of the things that you can do is add lemon. I personally love lemon water. Cucumbers in the water actually cool your organs, and that helps as well. Magnesium baths. I love a nice, Epsom salt bath. I know what is it? Milk. Is it the thistle? I think that's what it is. Is Tiffany? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and dandelion root.
Yes, and dandelion root. So those things can help. Now, I will say if somebody's going through candida or going through die-off, it's going to be a lot more intense. And these are usually the people that have autoimmune disorders, and it is literally breaking down. So I want you guys to think of I wish I could use my hands. This is really humbling for me right now, not using my hand. So I want you guys to think of your gut lining as like a sponge. Those yellow and green sponges that you can get it from the dollar store. So I want you to think of that green lining as like the lining of your gut. And then, so whenever we have processed foods, sugar, stress, all the things that we consume go through that lining, and they can get stuck in that yellow part. And what happens is it causes it's literally a leaky gut. And some people don't get rid of the things that we should get rid of. And that's why people are sick. They're all the things that we try to, help and reverse. So some people have it even worse. And Candida die-off is, it can be a whole nother level of detox, but encouraging your people to push through, holding their hand like a little bit more than usual, than most people, is really going to be helpful. And tonight I would love to hear from Tiffany. I want her to talk because I'm holding a baby duck, and she's going to share her story about Candida because she has an incredible story and she stuck with it. And I remember her literally being so excited when she started detoxing. So go ahead, Tiff.
Yes. So I found Plexus because I knew I had a Candida yeast overgrowth. For 2 years, I kept fighting reoccurring rashes in my underarms and in my navel, which were basically like yeast infections of the skin. So I had so much in my body that it couldn't come out fast enough and was trying to come out through my skin. So nothing I was doing was helping. Found out about Plexus. I'm pretty sure I Googled, like, how do you get rid of it? I thought I was going to find something, holistic, and I ended up finding Plexus. I'm not the type to take any medications. I don't even take Tylenol. Super leery of anything that you ingest. I would never have considered something like this before. But one, I was desperate, really desperate. It hurt to put my arms down. You can't walk around for weeks at a time looking like a chicken. And two, there were 2 or 3 different, I guess you could call them like influencer moms that I followed on different social media. And they were like the homesteading, super crunchy, homeschooling moms, the one you think, oh my goodness, like where did they get all their hours in a day? And they didn't necessarily like super outwardly promote it, but over time I found out that all of them used it. And I was like, if it's safe enough for them, it's safe enough for me. Like these people aren't doing any dyes, any artificial anything. Like, I think this is okay. It's probably okay. Check the ingredients. I was okay with it. So I started it. Something had to change. I didn't even know it helped with weight loss. Didn't care it helped with sleep. Didn't care about anything else. I just needed the yeast to go away. So within the first week, I totally dropped cravings, which was super nice because I was a binge eater in the past and an emotional eater. Food was no longer like a coping mechanism. It was more of what food is meant to be. I got to eat because I needed it. I got to choose what I ate. That was amazing. And I lost 13 inches of inflammation. So I do have an autoimmune disease, like Jess was saying, from all the autoimmune. So it kind of makes sense that I would deflate that much once I started to supplement my body. But right around that same time is also when the die-off and detox started. So it was kind of a give and take. I was excited because that rash went away and never came back again. I have yet to see it, and I'm 3 years in. Almost 3. May will be 3. 3 years in, it's never come back. Even a couple times when I was bad and didn't take my supplements the way I should, kind of was patchy here and there with it for periods of time. It still never returned. But the die-off and detox was really bad. So the way I've always started people on Plexus is 3 days of Slim. And then on day 4, we start with 1 and 1 of the Bio Cleanse and the Pro Bio 5. We try that for a full week. And then we try going up to 2 and 2, as long as they're not having any odd symptoms. I always preface that with odd symptoms because it took me a solid 3 months to be able to go up to 2 and 2. I would become violently ill if I went to 2 and 2. 1 and 1, I was okay. The first 2 or 3 weeks, I had tons of headaches. For the first time in my life, my period was crazy. Like it would completely disappear. 3 months. It would completely disappear. It would pop up on a different day. Like my hormones were trying to regulate after so many years of being off kilter that it really messed that up. Eventually it regulated, but anything that could go wonky in my body did. I got acne for the first time in my entire life. I've never had acne. It was trying to exit my body. If it can't be excreted through urine or feces, the third option for the body is through the skin. So you'll see acne. I was nauseous quite a bit. Just all the things. I felt drunk. That was the scariest one. Jess had to talk me through that one. So I was actually super excited to see symptoms because it meant it was working. It wasn't a bullshit product. I didn't have to worry about taking something that wasn't healthy for me and it may have negative effects later. I knew I was safe taking it. And the fact that I was having symptoms meant that this is not just a sugar pill. It is doing something for me. I felt dizzy though and drunk, as if I went up and down an elevator 100 times or up on a mountain or something and my ears were clogged. And I had like that vertigo, dizziness, wonky, couldn't walk in a straight line. I had that for about 2.5 weeks. That was unsettling, but now I know the science behind it and why it was happening, but it was pretty rough. But yeah, it was 3 months that it took me. If I go off of them now, and I'm not consistent, which I have been for probably 6 months now, but in the last 3 years, there's been a couple times where I've gone months of, kind of here and there, just not really dedicating the time that I needed to. And it will take me a solid 2 or 3 weeks before I can go back to 2 and 2. I always have to start at 1 Bio Cleanse, 1 Pro Bio 5. I have to take them right before bed. But yeah, now I'm finally up to 2 and 2. Never plan on going to 3. I don't think we need that of any of them. But yeah, I'm so happy I did it. It changed so much. It was completely worth it. But yeah, now anytime somebody has detox or die off, when I explain this to them, like I just signed someone up about an hour ago, I say them together because people are already going to be a little leery of the fact that this may make them not feel great. People are leery of anything that they consume. I was one of them. But if you go in to try and explain this is die off, this is detox, the idea that now there are 2 things that could go wrong, you're going to lose them. So let me explain the die off detox process to you as if it's like one fluid thing. Like, hey, we're just going to skim past this, but I am going to warn you it could possibly happen just so you don't panic. And so you don't come back to me like, oh my God, you said I was going to feel great. You might feel a little shitty before you get better. I don't know what to tell you. So I explain it to them and let them know that it could be bad. And like I said, I really watch people. I always tell people the game plan is give me a call whenever you get your products. And we're going to start your pink drink for the first 3 days. And then we're going to take 1 of each capsule for at least the next week. I don't really go any further with that and explain, okay, and at the end of that week, we go to 2 and 2. I say, we're going to chat again at the end of that week and see how you're feeling. If I can tell they're having any die off or detox, then we'll probably do another week of one-on-one. And if I get any pushback from somebody with that, who maybe does know that you're supposed to go to 2 and 2, or I hate the backs of our bottles that like give full instructions of take this much this time, even though that's not really what we want them to do. I understand why it's there, but it is kind of frustrating. So if I get somebody that fights me on it, I'm like, look, this is not a race. And the amount of these products, supplements, that your body needs is what it needs. So if you take too much of it, you're basically just flushing it down the toilet. Your body is going to excrete it through your urine. And we just wasted stuff that we could have used for months to come. So if you're feeling good at 1 and 1, and we're ready to go to 2 and 2, let's go. If you are not, then there's no harm, no foul. You're not healing any slower at 1 and 1 because that's where you need to be. And usually it works out fine. But I definitely emphasize that a lot. Like Jess does, I definitely celebrate it. I'm like, woohoo, now you know it's working. Like, can't you see? If you're feeling that way, then obviously we're getting somewhere. And so just keep it super happy. The way you present things to people is the way people are going to interpret it. So if you approach it as, oh no, I'm so sorry, they're going to be like, oh, there's something that someone should feel bad for me about. Like, wait, what? And they might milk that a little more than necessary. Or if somebody has anxiety, it's definitely not something you want to kind of root around in their head for too long. So getting it up front and then handling it as it comes, but keeping it in a positive light is going to be best for everybody.
Absolutely. Confidence is key, 100%. And you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh, Candida, this, oh my gosh, detox that, or this and that. You just have to be confident and say, yeah, detox happens. It's totally normal. And we celebrate it around here. Welcome to Plexus. There's nothing wrong with that. Is there any questions or anything that you guys have experienced or something that you guys want to talk about with detox or die off or anything? Anybody? Experiences, stories. Okay. And just like Tiffany said, celebrate it big time. There was something else I was going to say too. I can't remember, but I remember when she shared with me when she did the, first 3 days of slim and then 1-on-1 and working your way up. That is truly crucial. And I truly believe that if you are upfront with them in the very beginning and you are, yes, holding your hand at least their first month, at least, that is going to be the determining factor of their success. Obviously, I'm always going to say like their success is not your responsibility. However, making sure that you are providing the best customer care is always going to be so important, and making sure that they are aware and, all the things. So just be confident and don't beat around the bush. I personally like when somebody just tells me and doesn't try to avoid the subject, because it doesn't have to be scary if you don't make it scary. So Detox and Die Off are good. And yeah. So yeah. Any questions, anything at all you guys want to talk about? I'm sitting here trying to think, but this dang duck is distracting me. No?
I put the flyer that I use in the chat, in the Go Crushers chat.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Nice. And then also with, with Die Off and Detox, if somebody experiences it, I always like to send the video. I like explain it, congratulate them, all that kind of stuff, and tell them what we can do to avoid it, or, just let it keep going. Number one, encourage them, push them through it, because it's going to be 100% worth it. And also I like to send the YouTube video with that. And it's just the the Plexus Detox Explainer. And of course that's in a board. So that's always helpful. Always, always, always send a resource. And yeah, so some things to look forward to. Tomorrow night, we're going to have a business event, chat event. It's going to be 15 minutes, 8:00. Get people lined up for it. It's going to be, 15 to 20 minutes. You want people in that. Sunday, we are doing a business Zoom. It's going to be me, some other Jules and Rubies. It's going to be a good time. That's 8:00 on Sunday night. And then, which I will, send that information over to you guys. And then I think that's it. Still free active throughout the rest of the month with March 23 for new joins. And I see so many of you. I've been having like a little PowerPoint, but obviously I've been way too busy today doing this because I'm getting ready to have more. I see more eggs cracking, and my kids just jumped out of bed. So that's great. And yeah, it's chaos. Let somebody tell me that they can't do Plexus, and I'll be like, hold my duck. So yeah. And more things are coming at the end of the month. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be good. You guys are going to like it. And yeah, so if there's nothing else that you guys want to talk about, I appreciate you being on here tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking time away from your friends and family and your kids and getting on. And I appreciate you guys, and I will get this recording out.